Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, is here. Hello, Tom.
Hey, Danny.
Wall Street Journal, well-respected newspaper, right?
It's one of the few publications for which I have a subscription, so yes, I do think so.
Actual journalist, extensive coverage of business and finance, right?
All sorts of good stuff in there.
Right. That's where I saw the headline, Roth versus traditional 401k, where to put your money for retirement. That got my attention, and apparently yours as well.
As soon as you asked me about this, I knew exactly what we were talking about. So yes, we were in tune on this one, Danny.
Let's talk about that. The 401k is what you do here at Annex Wealth Management for companies we work with. It was built on a simple idea. You set aside money from each paycheck to save for tomorrow and get a tax break today. The article points out many workers now have other option, which is to save the tax break for tomorrow too. So we're talking about the Roth 401k. How does that work?
So I'm going to real quick promote our YouTube channel because we have a great video where it talks about Roth versus pre-tax. But in essence, the answer to your question is, how does Roth work? It is essentially the treatment of the contributions in terms of taxes. So traditional pre-tax 401k is you don't pay any taxes on it now, grows tax deferred. Come retirement time, you take it out, you pay taxes on it then. Roth is just the opposite. You do pay the taxes now, then the money goes in, grows tax deferred till retirement, at which point, assuming you've completed all the other rules I'm not going to get into today, but at that point, you don't have to pay taxes. So it's pay now instead of pay later, basically.
When do you want to bite the bullet?
Correct.
Right. Roth accounts might not be the best choice for everybody, and deciding how much of your money should go into the Roth versus traditional, it's calculation. It's current spending, future taxable income, life expectancy, and other factors, some of which are, quote, unknowable. Unknowable. That sounds complicated.
A lot of them are unknowable, Danny. And so when you say that, some of the things are unknowable, let's start with what is knowable. So what we do know is what we're paying in taxes today. And what we don't know is all the other stuff that you're talking about. So I think there are a couple of groups. There are people for whom Roth is just obviously the right answer. And then there are people for whom Roth is obviously not the right answer. And then it's that middle in-between group that we got to help figure out all these little details that you're talking about here. And that's why we meet with people one-on-one to kind of go through and ask a lot of questions and help them figure it out.
Roth 401ks create opportunities for some to reduce lifetime tax bills and leave more money for retirement or heirs. Not a bad thing.
It's a great thing. And it's just, again, a question of how you're structuring that in the context of your overall plan.
Okay, let's get back to this. Not everybody should contribute to a Roth concept. How come?
Well, there are people for whom the tax liability currently is going to outweigh the future tax liability. And the other thing is compound growth over time. The closer you are to retirement, the less value that compound tax-free growth has. So it's just a question of how close to retirement. Are you starting with the account? Are you already have an account that continues to grow? All of those things. And that's why people, sometimes they're dissatisfied that I can't just give a quick answer, but we do need to understand all the variables to help figure it out. But there are definitely cases where it's just the timing or the amounts just don't make it make sense.
Well, and this is what a financial plan does, and this is why we have teams that can help with this. An old broken down warhorse like me, I got to ask those kind of questions. Right?
We all do, Dan.
Yeah. Tom Parks is Director of Retirement Plan Services with Annex Wealth Management. He and his team work with companies to help build and maintain solid retirement plans. And these are plans that attract and retain great employees. Roth or traditional 401k, how does one decide?
Basically, you take a look and you try to get a feel for what do you think is going to happen in the future based on what you know today. Some of this is just personal, Danny. I like knowing. So I know what my tax rate is today. I love Roth because I'm paying it and I'm done and I don't need to think about it again. Now, is that a really great financial plan from a calculator and spreadsheet perspective? Maybe it's not, but personality factors into this. I do think you need to figure out some of the maths. You do need to understand what are tax rates now, but then it gets into what do I think tax rates are going to be in the future. I personally think they're probably not going to be the same because they usually change. So then the question is, all right, are they going to be higher? Or are they going to be lower? I personally think it's more likely they'll be higher than it is lower. Then the question is how much higher versus what they are. All this, these are all the things that we talk about with people. And then you start putting people's specific information in. That's where you start to get a clearer picture.
Can you split contributions? Can some go to the Roth? Can some go to a regular 401k?
Yes, you can do that. That is one thing I don't understand, honestly, why people would do that. It seems like you should either do Roth or you should do pre-tax, but I could be wrong about that. And again, that's why we have the financial planning department. And Danny, I will say, I've had some spirited discussions with the folks on our financial planning department, which is another thing I love about being here, is we got people who have a lot of really good insight, and we don't always have the same opinion, but we hammer it out and figure out what's going to be the right answer for clients here.
Oh, I think if we were all in lockstep, it probably would not work.
No, that
well.
would not be helpful.
Right. We figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Parks is Director of Retirement Plan Services at Annex Wealth Management. We can help your company. You can find Tom on LinkedIn or via annexwealth.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.